I know I must look really pathetic, jogging so slowly down that bike trail. I will say this, I definitely feel like every day that I'm never going to make any progress. I know I jog really slowly, out of breath. And heck, a few months ago, it strained my back quite a bit. There's times I worry that I might have herniated some discs. I know I didn't, I hope. But it's just like, I can do a forward bend and hear my back make like 20 pops. And I can do like a dozen times a day. But I think that's going to improve. But yeah, I'm just jogging down the bike trail and looking up at the clouds and imagine how awesome it would be to just be up there flying around. Just flying around the clouds, you know, skirting the clouds up there. You might say, oh, wouldn't be in the sky be terrible? You're scared of heights, Lunar. Like, yeah, but that's mainly because, you know, I have a terrible sense of balance. I mean, I can't even ride a bicycle. Instead, it's my fucking fat ass jogging down a bike trail, wearing red gym shorts, sunglasses, and a black t-shirt that has a very large picture of Momonga from Overlord. He even has the staff of Einzel Gone. But, you know, like, I would be a little bit scared even being on a ladder a couple feet up, especially over concrete or something. Because, you know, you fall from there, it's going to hurt. And also, it's kind of like people like, oh, it's never too late to learn how to ride a bicycle. Like, one, you can't learn balance. Two, I can't afford those medical bills. Then again, I'm the kind of person that if was able to fly all over the world easily, or just like I could just like jump into the air and fly like Superman, I'd go to like Japan and just go to a bike trail or something. It's like the lamest use of superpowers. Like, it's like, what are you going to use your superpowers for, Lunar? It's like you can fly at Mach 2 and you can go just about anywhere. I'm going to go find places where I can go look at trees and see some cool looking clouds in the sky. Because at the end of the day, having a terrible sense of balance or a fear of heights doesn't matter. Even if you're flying really fast, if you're nowhere near the ground or anything you can hit. Heck, there was somebody who asked me on several of my community posts about backstories for the pictures I've been posting. Community post pictures, though most pictures I'm just using for thumbnails for videos, including this one, even though the video itself is a black screen. You at least have a proper close-up of the first 10 pictures I made of. And of course, one of the pictures I really like the most. I made quite a few I like. But yeah. I guess I might as well do my intro. Though I'm trying to keep this to be a short video. Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone, in both the analog and digital world. Welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8, the Lunatic Angel, your tsundere streamer who doesn't stream. And like I said, like, for example, the picture you see on this video's thumbnail and probably the past 15 videos thumbnails and the next like 30 videos thumbnails are going to be, granted, it's mainly just going to be from when I do various video games on Steam and stuff. But yeah, it's my OC, my original character, Lunar D8. Granted, at times I've asked you guys to imagine that I look like Ramdo Amamura or like a Lumi Zoldyck. That basically just, hey guys, I'm a Lumi Zoldyck. Then again, I've made well over 4,300 videos of, heck, I would definitely recommend checking out discography and topography, lunar discography, and lunar topography. So I would say it's a quicker way to do that, but honestly, the quickest way would be just not even bother. I mean, because you have to actually be interested in that, but at least it's there if you want to. But, and of course, I'm always open to suggestions for games and such. But I promise nothing. But I'll at least look at it if you suggest a game or something. But, yeah. I'm just definitely if or whenever I succeed at getting in shape. Well, I would say thanks to God on that. Thanks to Jesus. But then again, thanks to God and thanks to Jesus for me to even be able to do the jog at all from day to day. Let alone, thanks for the blessings of, eventual improvement and being in shape and such. I mean, heck, I've never had a six-pack in my life. But it's just, honestly, I just have gratitude and grateful and thankful that I'm able to even jog at all. Or I'm able to even try or do anything. Granted, do have a bit of hope at making improvements, and of course I'd be grateful for that too. But just for being able to do what I can do, I'm grateful for that. It's funny. I would like the idea of flying through the sky, but I would definitely be scared of hitting the ground. I imagine like one of those videos I made where it's a picture of Lunar, Lunar the lunatic angel flying through the sky, and he's like flying in like space for the most part, and there's like these giant islands high in the cloud that you can see, like they look like small continents with huge buildings on them, like individual islands that are like, imagine stuff like the size of Hawaii but just floating through the sky with tons of buildings on it. I don't think I'd be scared of heights flying between those things, because at that point, it's just, even if I'm flying like several hundred miles per hour, it's like, granted, I'd have to have some sort of like barrier or something, or like something around me so I'm not like having, like run into a random duck or something in the sky. I mean, heck, I've seen the videos of how much that damages an airplane. And my face is not, I don't want to go face forward into a duck. And then I'll be like, you just hear a voice from the sky, guys. Be like, fuck all kinds of duck. Then again, I could make a joke that I like girls with ducks, but I don't think anyone's going to get the, I don't know, inappropriate joke at that. I don't know. Main point is this. I imagine I wouldn't be scared of heights just flying, from nowhere near the fucking ground. At least then, if I have a terrible sense of balance, it's not like I'm gonna, now obviously I would, like, if I could actually fly, it's not like I'm gonna be flying around like New York City, because last thing I want to do is fly into a fucking tower. Though, you know what? I haven't been to Washington, D.C. in a long-ass fucking time. Remember, there were a lot of really great museums there. History museums, art museums. Heck, there were a lot of awesome cathedrals there. Is it weird that if, if I looked like my OC and I had wings, I would fly to the Washington Monument and stand on the top of it? Not the pointy part, but probably at the slanted part of the obelisk. So my feet would be, levelly on the ground, but I'd be, looking toward the ground at like a 45-degree angle. I know people say, oh, are you aura farming? I mean, I would hope so, but honestly, I don't think I'm that cool. And then it's like, what are you going to do after you do that? I mean, maybe go swimming. I haven't gone swimming for like a decade. I haven't worn swim trunks in like a decade. Is it odd that like right now I'm imagining like Sylvia from Konosuba wearing swim trunks and, you know, a bikini top? I'm just saying, would not be against an 8-foot tall, giant titty, beautiful woman, Futa girlfriend. Everyone's like, what the fuck is this channel? I don't know. This is random fat otaku weeb who listens to like Kirsha and Asmongold on YouTube and plays video games and then occasionally does Let's Plays. Heck, I remember getting into Let's Plays quite back in the past when I was like enjoying watching Ultra J-Man and Freelance Astronauts and Proton John and all that. Slow Beef. You guys remember Slow Beef? I'll put a link in the description. It was fucking hilarious. Heck, Ultra J-Man did tons of great games like I Want to Be the Guy. And heck, he did a thing with Rom Scout, like How to Be a Bastard. Yes, it's an actual game. It's hilarious. I will remember to put things in the description in the comments if I don't forget. But it's just, yeah, I'm just a guy like, I like watching anime. I like reading manga. I work third shift. I work manual labor. I work in factory stuff, building stuff, or construction stuff. My phone makes a noise over there. I appreciate my job, but I make just enough money to pay my rent and other bills. And aside from that, I spend money on video games, and I got some McDonald's just now. I got some McDonald's French fries in front of me. Everyone's like, you're never going to stop being fucking fat, Lunar. Like, I know. Working on it. I wanted some McDonald's. Okay. But, yeah, work in progress. Honestly, I can't bench worth of shit. And even after I make some improvement, I still won't be able to bench worth of shit. But at least I'll be better. It's kind of like the idea where, like, I'll try to sometimes copy Mike Tyson's stuff because that'll help make improvements. Now, here's the thing. Under no circumstance, even after all the improvement in the world, will I even be 1/1000th the fucking athlete, let alone the fighter that Mike Tyson is. But at least by trying to copy him, I can at least be better than I am the day before and the day before that. So, heck, I still say Mayuri Kurochiki from Bleach and Goku from Dragon Ball Z are the same person. They're the same personality. Because that speech Mayuri gave to Sazeo Apollyon in the Arankar arc about perfection, that's the same speech that Goku gave Jiren. Even though I have tried to find that speech in the anime, heck, that before he recruits Frieza for that, when he does that little spar session by himself, the little shadow boxing thing at Baba's Island tournament, circle, square, whatever, the stage. That's actually supposed to be a 1-for-1 recreation of his fight with Grandpa Gohan from back in old Dragon Ball, which he is committed entirely to memory. But I don't know if that's true, or if I am just remembering that wrong. If I am wrong, I still think my way of remembering it is cooler. Same thing with the thing where Goku gave the Mayuri Kurochiki speech to Jiren. Like, I haven't been able to find any fucking trace of that. If you ever find it, feel free to, like, you know, link it to me or tell me where, because I don't think you guys can actually put links in the comments. So I can put links in the comments. But you guys can tell me what channel to look for. And as long as YouTube doesn't auto-delete it for some reason, I'll see it. And here's the thing, if more likely if your comment gets deleted, and then more likely YouTube auto-deleted it. Because sometimes I'll see that I'll get a notification that says I got a comment, and I'll look and I'm like, oh, there's nothing here. It's like, what was said? I don't know. I'm curious, YouTube. Let me know things. But yeah, I remember just Goku giving a speech to Jiren, because Jiren was like mocking Goku. This was like before Goku really fought with Jiren, and it's like he basically saying, you know what? You should feel ashamed of yourself, Goku. You know, after all your training and stuff, you're not perfect. And Goku's response is like, the last thing I ever want to do is be perfect. I want to constantly be improving. Like, Goku would just be bored out of his fucking mind if there was nothing to improve or a way to grow. I feel like if I lived for a million years, provided I was in good health, I would always want to learn something new, read something new. Though I would say this, if I actually had a loving partner, like whoever, I wouldn't get bored of that person. Heck, I could probably, if I had someone who loved and cared about, and I loved and cared about them, I could probably give them 100 hugs a day, and I would never get fucking bored of that person. Then again, I've never cheated on anyone in my life. Then again, every girlfriend or wife I ever had cheated on me, so... disappointing. But who knows, maybe I'll have better luck in the future. Maybe all of you out there might have better luck in the future. Heck, guys, feel free to comment below, like your own personal experiences with anything. Heck, are you guys trying to work out? If you are you guys, how's it going for you? Like, honestly, I feel like I'm a fucking failure, and I feel like I've been trying to make improvements, and I feel like it is... At many times, I feel like I have no hope of fucking succeeding. But I'm going to keep trying. And I'm probably going to keep failing. Though, I know at one point I labeled a playlist, This Triumph of a Soul. Which is kind of like I've been, I think some lyrics of some songs are pretty cool, like Disturbed and all that. But, it's just... The idea is I want to try to, be more confident. Have faith in myself. Believe in myself. Be confident. But that is so fucking hard. That is so hard to actually believe in yourself. Or to, think of yourself as, having value. Heck, I remember back when I was in school. Granted, I eased off last couple years of high school, and people mainly just left me alone or pretended I didn't exist. And I feel like I had more of a normal high school experience at that point. But before that, up until the last couple years of high school, I got bullied so fucking much. It was like a straight decade of 100 people telling me 1,000 times today to go fucking kill myself. And it's just, I got treated so fucking badly. Like, I got told every fucking insult you can imagine so many fucking times. And got the shit fucking kicked out of me a lot of times too when I was younger. That sucked. Usually 5 versus 1 is not a fair fight. I am not Yusuke Urameshi. I cannot fucking Baki grappler this shit. Everyone's like, oh, Baki the Grappler took on 100 people in a street fight at one time. And he's like, oh, you just take on 4 people at a time and you just won each part. No, I can't fucking do that. Granted, I've tried such a thing. It mainly consisted of me just getting punched a few thousand times. It fucking sucked. I'm just saying, spending 35 to 45 minutes just... one particular incident alone, I think I was 13 for that time. I think I was at least 40 minutes, 45 minutes of just getting the fucking shit kicked out of me. Just saying, getting punched over and over, slammed into a brick wall, slammed into the asphalt, kicked in the ribs, kicked in the face, getting your head stomped on is not fun. Heck, I had one bruise on my left temple that was sticking out a couple fucking inches. That sucked. Then again, it was also a quarter of a century ago, because I am old as fuck. I am fucking 39 years old. Which is also perhaps not the best when it comes to trying to get physically in shape. Then again, the older you get, it's not going to get any easier, so it's better we do this now rather than put it off anymore. But it's just... And of course, we're going on 20 minutes. It's supposed to be a short video. What was I even going to link? I was going to link something in the description that I can't really remember. I don't remember what I was wanting to link in the description. My memory is already failing me. I'm going to have to listen to that part of the video just so I can hear myself say whatever the fuck it was I was going to link. I don't remember. Fuck. So I'm going to have to listen to the video myself, so because I can't remember what it was. But it's just... Yeah, I mean, heck, are there any video games or anime you guys look for? I'm looking forward to volume 17, 18 of the overall Overlord light novel to come out. Heck, I still think there should be a Zone of the Enders 3 video game. I also think there should be another Soul Calibur video game. Like a Soul Calibur 7 at this point. I also think we should have a Mega Man Legends 3 and a Brave Fencer Musashi 3. I know the latest Halo kind of didn't exactly have the best performance in terms of sales, and some people had some complaints. You know what? I'd like to see a brand new Halo game with a brand new story. Now, granted, it can be a sequel of any part of the series. I trust the person that I'm asking to do this. Not that the person would ever have the funds to do it or the option to do it, but I'm sure if they had the money to do it, they'd probably like doing it. How about a Halo game in every way made by Raging Golden Eagle? Heck, let me know of a random YouTuber in the comments you got. Oh, that's it. Slow Beef and all those guys, the Let's Players. And again, I remember wanting to get into Let's Plays back then, but I couldn't. It was not possible for me to get into Let's Playing back then. But I really enjoyed it back then. Perhaps I was a bit addicted to watching people playing Super Mario ROM hacks. Heck, I remember there being Brutal Mario and Kaizo Mario. But yeah, like I said, for the moment, I'm fucking fat. I have a big-ass fucking belly. I don't have much muscle. I have no stamina. I don't really have much strength. And I get out of breath just talking to people. So, at this point, I should just be grateful I haven't died of a fucking heart attack. But, yeah. I'm wanting to improve myself at a lot of things. And I'll tell you this. Whenever I get physically in shape and I'm like able to jog really, run fast and have good stamina and endurance with that and all, and I'm in shape and I have, I'm physically fit, I'm going to want to keep making improvements, learning new skills. But, heck, I will say this. What do you guys think are some cute waifus? Heck, Ivy from Soul Calibur 2 from the PS2 game, she was cute. So was Taki. So was Kaoru from Evangelion. So was Asuka from Evangelion. Heck, I feel like whenever I'm out there in the world, it would not be that hard for anyone to actually just ask me out. Not that that would happen. I'm just saying this, even with all the negative experiences I've had with women, because like I said, I've had a horrible experience of that shit. But I will tell you this. If I was out and about and I met a woman and she was cute and I found her attractive and she walked up to me and told me that she thought I was cute, I definitely wouldn't tell her no to, her phone number and talking. I'm not going to lie to you guys on that. But at the same time, I am very cautious on all of that just because, I think like a lot of people out there, I've had some bad experiences, and I'm sure many of you have as well. And like I said, been alone for a long ass time. Would say best way to describe me is bisexual, but at the same time, it's just I've never dated a guy. And at the same time, I feel like most of the examples I have of people that I'm like, well, I think Astolfo is cute. It's like, so, but then again, in general, I'm not a very sociable person. whoever dates me in the future has to deal with someone with lots of PTSD, paranoia, and who just, I mean, also my testosterone level is, it fell off a cliff. At the very tail end of my divorce, like my marriage, because technically the divorce like I said, marriage was terrible. And honestly, I would rather be alone for the rest of my life than be with someone like my ex-wife ever again. I tend to be a lonely person, but I was never more lonely and alone than when I was married. Don't get me wrong, the day my son was born was the happiest day of my life. And I love him very much, and I'm grateful. But at the same time, I do not ever want to go through another divorce. And I don't want to ever be married or living with somebody like my ex-wife ever again. That was fucking awful and horrible. Heck, I have a 3-inch scar on my right arm to remember my last Christmas being married to my adulterous, psychotic, abusive ex-wife by. And even then, after that, I still try to make that marriage work. So about 6 months later after that, we wind up basically getting divorced because of, her having open adultery and stuff, and which that sucked. But, I found out after the divorce was official that, she had been cheating on me with other people for like a year plus at least before that, and other stuff on top of that, which is like, oh, that's good to know. Though one of the times she was, doing something with somebody, actually exposed me to mono. First time ever I got exposed to mono. And of course, if you get exposed to that when you're older, it's more dangerous to you. And especially if your immune system apparently just doesn't like that shit. So, yeah, basically, I didn't know at the time. It wasn't until like a year plus later that, we were officially divorced. And after that, I eventually found out about, that, the open adultery that at that point wasn't the only time. But, yeah. She cheated on me, gave me mono from an affair partner I didn't even know about till after the divorce was, so apparently there were several affair partners, but at least, we wind up filing for divorce because of the open affair partner, the adultery. And here's the thing, she was planning on trying to marry that guy, and then of course that fell through. That's still crazy. 3 weeks. 3 weeks after we were officially divorced, she was literally trying to beg and grovel, asking me to remarry her, saying, we don't have to go to a church or anything. We just go to the courthouse, pay like a small fee, and just get instantly remarried. She was wanting to basically get remarried that day, that hour. She was like, and she was so fucking offended when I told her no. It's like, why would I remarry you? You're a psychotic bitch. You're a horrible person. You're a pathological liar. You committed so much fucking adultery. You committed domestic violence against me. You're a rapist. And you're absolutely psychotic and insane. I still feel like if I go, like every day before I even leave, and thankfully she's been, leaving me alone the past few years, but I know the first couple years of the divorce, like, she was just like messaging me, like demanding, like, hey, who are you dating? Who are you dating? Like, why do you care who I'm dating? You're the one who cheated on me. You're the one who divorced me. Heck, I tried to do everything I could to try to save that marriage up until we were legally divorced. For several reasons. 1, just because I guess I'm just stupid. 2, because my own personal low self-esteem. 3, because, religion, you're supposed to, like, if you are legally married to somebody, you have a duty to try to do everything possible to try to make it work, even if your partner is a psychotic, abusive person who's out of their fucking mind and is trying to kill you, obviously, and is cheating on you. And now, granted, here's the thing. The very last couple months of the divorce, I didn't really want to have sex with her anymore because she was, having sex with someone else unprotected and trying to actively conceive a child with somebody else. And I thought that was gross and disgusting. And I didn't want to touch her. Granted, there's still sometimes she still wanted to have sex. And apparently screaming no at someone and shoving them away is not enough. So, but I at least made sure I wore a condom. But it's just like psychotic fucking bitch. And at the end of the day is this. My son lives with her parents as the only way to keep her from killing our child. My options were he lives with them or he dies. I made the choice to keep my child alive. I am alienated from him at the moment. Heck. First 5 years after the divorce happened, I spent a couple hours a day sitting in my son's bedroom talking to his stuffed animals. Heck, his bedroom still looks like it was when we first moved into this place. And like I said, I've been divorced for a long time at this point. I will say this, at least like the first year and a half or so after the divorce, he was coming over on the weekends. And then after that, there was like the COVID stuff and lockdowns. It went like a year and a half without seeing him. And it was just, that was bullshit. And I was trying to argue against that. And then again, a few months before, like I said, he was coming over for the first year and a half after the divorce. But for the last few months of that, before the whole COVID thing happened, they were like, oh, he shouldn't be spending the night anymore. And it's like, try to argue against that. And it's like, and then it's just, at least during the COVID thing, I was able to talk to him on the phone and stuff. And it's just, but then after that, like, okay, we had a few years where I was seeing him like four or five, 6 times a year, giving him birthday, Christmas presents. But then it's like after that, eventually just got to the point where, I don't know, fuck. And like, heck, last time I saw him in person, like the last thing he was basically saying, in front of me and his grandparents was, grandparents on his mother's side, because it was me, his grandparents on his mother's side, and him at their place. And last thing he was saying to me as I was, getting ready to head out and, go home was, can daddy stay later? Can dad come over again tomorrow? Can daddy come over again next week? And he was so excited and happy at that idea. And I was like, oh, and I was feeling happy about it too. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be able to spend more time with him. And they're like, oh, no, we'll be busy this weekend, but maybe next weekend. And it's, oh, yeah, cool. Or like, then, you guys know what I mean, but I'm just saying. And then, of course, after that, it's just, things got odd, and I kept getting pushed away on that. And it's like, hard to get hold of people. And then eventually, when I'm getting a phone call from him, basically him telling me he doesn't want to see or talk to me. And at this point, it's like, it's been like over 2.5 years since I've even seen my child in person. It's been over a year and a half since I've even been able to talk to him on the phone. I have 3 years. I have 3 years of birthday cards and presents and Christmas gifts just sitting around that I can't give him. And also, I'm pretty sure my son probably hates me at this point, because I don't know what the fuck he's been told about me at this point. And I feel angry and sad about a lot of things. But it's like I pay child support for my son, and yet I don't get to see or talk to him. Heck, I worry about like all this shit I see in the news, like the world, and it's like, well, if World War III or something happens, like, what's going to happen to my child? Is he going to be safe? Fuck. Heck. I will say this. I love my son. I always will love my son, and I'll always be there for him whenever he wants to see and talk to me. But at the same time, I feel confused about a lot of things, and I definitely feel sad and angry about a lot of things. But it's just fuck. But at the end of the day, it's just, at least when I was still aware of what's going on over there, they're taking good care of him. And at least to the best of my knowledge, they are still taking good care of him. So his maternal grandparents love him as if he's their own son. He's their own son. And that's basically how they're raising him, too. Though at times that upsets me because I feel like they're raising him into being somebody that I don't want him to be. Like, I feel like they're not, I feel like they're raising him into somebody I don't recognize. And even then, that's even when I was last seeing him. And it's just a lot of things that just worry me about a lot of things. But I'll say this. I know I made the right decision. It kept him alive. Had I made any other decision whatsoever when it came to my marriage or him, he would have died. Heck, I remember having lots of dreams about, after the divorce, I had dreams about if I had managed to save my marriage and stay married to my ex-wife. We would have had another child, and in the course of the dream, it then consisted of her throwing the baby down a flight of stairs, and then it's screaming and crying in pain while its limbs are twisted away, and her, brutally murdering me and our son. And granted, those are dreams, so I can't fault other people for my own dreams, but I do feel the important aspect that my dreams state is that is how I feel at a deep level about my ex-wife. That is how I personally view her. That's how I feel about her. That I would have nightmares about her, about me and her having more kids and then her murdering me and those kids. So the fact that I would have dreams like that, I mean, heck, I'll be honest. If I were to get a call from her or see her anywhere, I would feel, like I said, I've always been physically stronger than her. Then again, I've never hit a woman in my life. Heck, even in self-defense, which she gave me ample reasons to have justification for self-defense. And yet, even in those circumstances, I have never been able to bring myself to hit a woman. Heck, granted, there are times where, when I was, especially back when I was in school and I was getting bullied a lot and people were like beating the shit out of me, I would hit people then, but, those are guys. And, they were also trying to beat the shit out of me and stuff. Self-defense. So I can at least say I've only ever hurt anybody in self-defense. Heck, I remember making a community post once about, I was what, 10 or 11 or something, playing a picnic table, my little troll dolls. And no, they weren't the girly troll dolls. They were the masculine, manly troll dolls. One was a knight and the other was like a pirate dude. And then there was someone of some approximate age close to me came at me like one of those Power Ranger axes with the plastic, the little rubber part of the axe peeled off, so it was just hard. Come and just hit me over and over. And after a while, I just took from them and just hit them. They ran away. Apparently that, gave them a scar and stuff. Which, that's an interesting story in itself. But I know the next day, there was some teenager knew the person, came with an actual fucking fire axe trying to swing on me. And again, I'm just fucking 10 or 11-year-old playing with fucking troll dolls. I remember commenting in the post about what I did, but I don't really remember. A lot of things like that getting more fuzzy just because fucking eternity ago. Suffice to say, I'm alive. And that worked out okay, I guess. But my French fries are getting cold. Damn it. McDonald's fries are better when they're warm. Son of a bitch. But it's just, yeah. But yeah, I will say this. I refuse to go through any of the things I went through with my ex-wife ever again. And I'll say this, I feel like if I were to ever see her on my front porch, I'd probably just call 911. Heck, every day, whenever I leave my front door, I always look out that peephole, day or night. But it's just, heck, like I said, for the first couple years or so, she was like messaging me, like asking who I'm dating and trying to like say like, oh, I need her permission to like, like I need to like ask her permission to like whoever I date in the future. Like I need to send like, oh, if I'm dating someone, I need to send a picture of whoever I'm dating and have her permission. And it's like, what the fuck? No, I don't. What the fuck's wrong with you? Leave me alone. Heck, she still has my last name after all these fucking years. Not that I go ask about it, but again, occasionally someone just fucking mentions it to me. I'm like, I don't want to know this. But I'll say this, thankfully she's left me alone for the past couple of years. And I never want to see or talk to her ever again, and at least, honestly, that's a good thing about my son not living here with me, is that it would just be another thing that she'd be using to try to harass me over, whether we had shared custody or any of that stuff. She would just wind up abusing authority on that. Then again, like I said, that would have been the best case scenario. The whole reason I agreed with him to live with her parents, who at that point, keep in mind, even her own parents are scared of her. No idea if that's changed in any way. I know she's had more kids. But again, I really don't know any details about that because I don't want to know. All I know is like there was one time I was talking to my son and he's like, hey, let me put my brother on. I'm like, I don't want to talk to your younger brother. I was like, hi. And of course I was polite to the kid. I'm like, it's not his fault that his mom's a fucking demon and shit. And he is, a half brother to my son. But it's like, I don't want to talk to him. I'm on the phone because I want, and it's like, and that was a video chat, by the way. But it's like, I'm talking to you. You're my son. I don't want to talk to other people. Like, I'm talking to you. It's like, but again, it's like I just waved and said hi said, hi, can I talk back to my son? Like, you're doing good? That's good. It's like, okay. It's like I don't want to talk to this other kid. I want to talk to you. It's like, you're my son. And again, it's like, my son told me once on a normal phone call, and again 6 months later and part of me thought maybe he's being like put up to saying it or something, but he seemed like he wasn't being coerced or anything. And he said, and I'll say this, both times he said it to me, both that one phone call and the video chat where he said it to me, where he didn't really want to see or talk to me anymore, didn't even want his presents, even I still keep getting him Christmas and birthday presents anyway, but eventually I'm going to start getting less because I'm going to start running out of places to put his gifts. But yeah, both times he's said it to me. My response, I mean, I didn't get angry at him. I didn't yell at him. I didn't say anything mean. All I said is, I love you. I don't understand, and I want to see and talk to you. But I'll say this, as his father, all I care about is this. He's safe. He's happy. He's alive. And again, like I said, my ex-wife, if she had him, or even if I had custody, she'd be fucking harassing me over that all the time. And I'd be having to like talk to her all the time. And again, I don't want to talk to her. She's a psychotic, abusive bitch. I don't want to have to be forced to have to constantly interact with my abuser. That doesn't sound fun or psychologically healthy. Or something that's, I don't know, good for my mental health. And at least her parents can basically tell her to fuck off if she's pushing any things. Because at the end of the day, I'm just not really a very aggressive. I mean, I'll yell at video games. I mean, heck, I've played Super Meat Boy and I've cussed my fucking head off at that shit. And I had fun playing the video game, but there's a difference between, cussing at a video game and, being aggressive toward another human being. Then again, my default reaction stuff is just, let's just be sad. Like, whoever I date in the future has to be like, and here's the thing, it's like, whoever I date in the future, I don't want to talk to them about any of this, because I feel like I don't want them to, like, just to view me that way. Either they're one, like, I don't want them to stay with me and love me because they're like, out of pity. And I also don't want them to, think less of me. And it's like, oh, you're a man who's a victim of domestic violence and rape and shit. Oh, I feel like most people would just not have any respect for a person like that. It's like, oh, you're a victim of domestic violence and stuff and sexual assault and on and on and on. It's like, then again, I mean, I don't know what's worse. The people scoffing at it that you don't really count as a person because you're a guy, or the fact that, oh, well, you're a guy, you must have done something to deserve it. You must have actually been the aggressor. And like, great, that's not helpful to me. And of course, I can't really say any of this shit to my son because, well, I feel like it would be very psychologically damaging to him to know that his mom, I mean, granted, he had to deal with seeing her yell and cuss and be violent back then, but I hope he doesn't remember that. But I'll say this, is just, if we had a shared custody thing, my wife being, alienating me from him and being controlling about visitation would be the best case scenario. Because I'll tell you this, initially I, was pushing for shared custody of the divorce, but after the divorce was official, it became very clear, very early in shared custody, that I was like, he was going to die. That if I just kept into a normal shared custody situation, that him being alone with her for any amount of time like that is going to result in his death. And I also became very clear that at any point, if I try to fight or do anything to try to like, oh, you should be able to fight for more custody of that, like, one, it should never have been a situation where I was forced to have to fight for him anyway. I shouldn't have had the shit happen in the first place. So again, not a thing to be blaming me for. But two is this, given the circumstances, had I actually done anything, he would have died. Had I not agreed to him being, because like I said, within 1 week of us being officially divorced, her parents had papers in front of us for us to sign them to go live with them. And I signed because within that first fucking week, she had already gone even more psycho since the time we got divorced, which was 1 fucking week. And it became very clear to me, I signed this, or he's probably not going to live to see his next birthday. And given the way circumstances were after, even the past couple years, any of the groups a couple years, but particularly the first couple years after the divorce, it became very clear, had I not signed it, had I not agreed to my son to go live with them, he would have been dead before he ever turned 5 years old. There was no way he would have survived. I can look back and say, there is no decision I could have made in the past that would have resulted in anything other than his death or his not being born. Now again, I'll say, the day he was born was the happiest day of my life. I love my son very much. I remember doing everything I could to raise him. I was the sole income in the house. I went to work. I took care of the house. And I took care of him. I was the primary caregiver for him. I changed his diapers. I fed him. I gave him baths. I read him stories. I took him to the doctor. I would give him so many hugs every day. I would tell him I love him hundreds of times a day. I would sit and try to read him various things like Winnie the Pooh. I also have a book of The Hobbit. Though I remember the first couple videos I made of this channel, I tried reading some Winnie the Pooh for the laptop, and it's just, for my son, I would sound all happy and cheerful, and he'd be sitting in my lap, and he'd be all happy and cheerful, like, Daddy. And he's so happy. But as I was reading the laptop, you know, it just, there's no way I could dissociate from the fact that I was reading to a fucking laptop, that my child is gone, that I have lost my family, and that, you know, the suspension of disbelief that, you know, I'm talking to another person as opposed to just talking to a fucking computer screen, reading a book by myself in the top part of my staircase. I sounded like a fucking demon. Like my voice was filled with just grief and anger. Then again, I've talked about tons of things. And again, I don't want this to be a long video. It's supposed to just be, hey guys, I went jogging. And I feel like I'm making slight improvement of the jogging, but I still feel like I look really pathetic because I feel like I'm not having much endurance, and I feel like I jog really slowly, that even for jogging, not even running, I feel even by jogging standards, I feel like I'm jogging really slowly. And I feel like I'm making very slow improvement, and I have very low self-esteem and belief in myself and shit. And again, it's like the whole triumph of a soul thing. Like, yeah, guys, I'm gonna... It's like, look how awesome I am. But it really is just like, I feel like every day it's a struggle to just make it through every fucking day. And it's just, I'm trying to jog. I'm trying to improve. But again, the triumph of soul thing, you know, I need to try to have more self-esteem, to have more confidence in myself. So I need to try to have faith in myself, have some more confidence in myself, try to, you know, believe in myself some more, and think more highly of myself. Think of myself as, you know, successful and good and strong and handsome and cute and fast. And again, I think it'd be kind of cool, like, imagine, other than the whole being flying around the sky and the clouds and stuff, but also just thinking about a day in the future where I'm able to, like, run really fast down the bike trail and feel like wind is going across my face as I'm, like, able to, like, probably run for miles and not feel tired or sore. I don't know. But yeah, I guess a good way to put the description of Lunar, the lunatic angel, is a gentle ache wrapped in elegant restraint. I guess that's a good way to describe my personality. If I'm trying to describe myself in positive terms, which, you know, granted, I feel is disingenuous. I feel like I'm fucking worthless. I feel like I can't do shit right. Like I'm not athletic or attractive or skillful at anything. Heck. There's times I had to remind myself how I did in school, like I'm not dumb. Sometimes I look at myself like I must be like fucking retarded or something. But at the same time, it's like, as much as I might call myself stupid and dumb all the time, I mean, I graduated high school with an honors diploma. I had a 4.0. I took calculus, physics, chemistry. I remember taking IQ tests back when I was like 13, 14, even when I was like 17, 18, 19, usually getting between like 132, 135. I don't think I ever broke 140, but I would say on average maybe 132, 135. Though I imagine it's gone down quite a bit. I mean, I've been in multiple car accidents. I've been poisoned. I've had fevers of 106, 107. I've been in multiple car accidents, one of which I got like a dozen plus staples on the left side of my skull. That hurt, by the way. I've gotten sick multiple times. I've gotten so many blows to the head, plus just aging. There's also, especially during the time of my marriage, was sleep deprivation, but of course, I tend to not really sleep the best, but I'm trying to sleep better nowadays. Heck. And again, like I said, that one of the earlier times where she cheated on me a year before, you know, the open adultery stuff, you know, and again, I didn't know about it at the time. I just sort of got sick for some reason from something that I shouldn't have been able to be exposed to without, you know, bodily fluid contact. But yeah, mono. So I spent 3 days in the ICU for that, being pumped full of chemicals to keep me from dying. I had meningitis and encephalitis. I had swelling of the brain and swelling in the spinal cord. I even had to have fucking spinal tap. Heck, during those 3 days I was in the hospital, I couldn't sit up for more than 30 seconds before I would just collapse from just how much pain and pressure was in my head. And I remember the first week after that, I was having to wear sunglasses at all times and just living on Excedrin, just because I was still in so much fucking pain. But I'll tell you this. My testosterone level fell off a fucking cliff after that. So, and granted, there's other things that influence that too, whether it be psychological stress or just conditions of stuff and the jobs I was pulling back then. But, and granted, like, and I'll say this, I feel like my health as well as, heck, I'll say this. My penis used to be 7 inches long. It is now 5 inches long. Also, don't really have the same sex drive I did when I was younger. And it still gets hard, but I feel like it's not as hard as it was when I was younger. Everyone's like, oh my God, Lunar's basically saying he's impotent. What kind of fucking video is this? Random otaku says his dick doesn't work as well as it should anymore, and it's shrunk down to a pitiful fucking 5 inches long. I'm like, yeah, I know. Lower testosterone probably doesn't help with the whole physical fitness thing. It was about like 2 or 3 years ago. I went on 1 year of testosterone replacement therapy from a doctor. They gave me some sort of gel to put on. I was doing that for a year. And at the tail end of that, when I went off of it, you know, the doctor's recommendation was they were wanting me to get a higher dosage. The doctor didn't want me to stop taking it. In fact, I didn't really have that discussion with the doctor. The discussion I had with the doctor was saying they want to double, if not triple, the dosage they're giving me. And then the discussion I had with myself after that was like, one, not only would I not be able to afford that, but also I don't want to be dependent on an exogenous chemical. It was one thing to take a little bit of it, like take the dose they started me on and for a short period of time. But after that, I'm like, I don't want to be suddenly be taking double or triple dose for an even longer period of time. Because at that point, I basically would be having to live on this stuff for the rest of my life. And I don't want to be dependent on other chemicals. It's kind of the same idea. Like at times I've considered the idea of, you know, those SSRI antidepressive things that people take. Apparently there's like several different types of those things. I've never taken antidepressants unless you can't like getting like ashwagandha and various supplements from vitamin shops and Walmart, which I've tried various supplements. I hope they're helping. I mean, I'm trying to take some CBD and stuff, but Heck, I'm pretty sure I have severe depression, PTSD, more PTSD, borderline personality disorder, and probably autism and ADHD, because all the online tests I've taken for autism and ADHD, apparently I scored very high on those things. Apparently I have super autism and super ADHD. I don't know. Maybe it's just eccentricity. Maybe it's just personality quirks that come off a certain way. I don't know. Heck, even if I were to go to a doctor and they're like, yeah, you have it's like you have Street Fighter levels of autism. I don't want medication for that. But like I said, I've considered the idea of medication for like depression, but I've always decided against it. One, just because, I mean, imagine if I'm paying that stuff and I don't have medical insurance one day. I mean, how would I afford it anymore? But even then, I don't want to be dependent on those kind of things. Now, again, if other people feel they need them, that's good. I mean, it's between you and your doctor. It's just, I would rather avoid taking stuff like that, especially since you always hear these odd complications about a lot of things and side effects. It worries me. Then again, I also hear some people have a low dose ketamine they take. That there's some people that instead of an antidepressant, they'll take a low dose of ketamine from a doctor. And I'm like, I don't know. Would that be an option? Would that be good? Would that be a good idea? I don't know. If I ever did, it would always be by a doctor's, prescription, but I don't know if that would be a thing I would want to do in terms of beneficial for me. I don't know. I think the main thing I'm just coming to mind with that is I'm just thinking, I hear the word ketamine, and I just think that Nightcore song with the guy in the air, and it's yeah, he's got a happy face, and he's in the air, and he's on a loop, and it's there's a song called Ketamine. So, I mean, I like music, but I think there's a difference. It's kind of I like the song Snowblind, technically by Black Sabbath, but also is covered by System of a Down. But I like Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne's version of it better. But just because I like the song Snowblind doesn't mean I should go out there and do cocaine. I have drank a lot of Red Bull, though, over the course of my life. Some days, I mean, I've had kidney stones before, and those sucked. I feel like that's... Then again, I've had a bladder surgery 3 years ago. My mom was over here for 3 days and 3 nights. I had a tube up my dick. I measured it after I had to pull... I had to keep it up there for 50 plus hours. And it was an extra thick one and it was a Foley catheter too. So you had that little balloon filled with water, fluid, whatever, up inside my bladder. But after I pulled it, which I'll tell you this, fucking sucked, and it hurt, and I'm pretty sure I was so close to blacking out multiple times during that, but it was the thickness of a fucking number 2 pencil. It was actually because I had a bladder, and granted it was the less invasive, because the original thing they described me sounded like something out of a fucking Saw movie. I'm like, fuck that shit. But eventually they're like, hey, we think we'd have better success with the less invasive one, so we won't really have to cut you that much, or if anything, we'll just sort of go up and inflate stuff to try to move some stuff around, because technically I had a stricture in my bladder, because genetics fucking hates me, I guess. Yay, genetics. Fuck you, genetics. Why couldn't I have superpowers? No, you have, according to your genes, you're going to develop a stricture in your fucking bladder. And then you need to get that fixed or you'll fucking die. So it's hey, you need to have surgery or your bladder will suddenly shut itself off and then fill with fluid, and then your internal organs will explode and you will die. And I'm like, dying's inconvenient. I mean, to be frank, yes, I do have severe depression, but I've never tried to kill myself. I never would try to kill myself. If for whatever reason, there's a news report and I get 3 shots in the back of my head, it wasn't suicide. At some point, the government fucking killed me at that. But then again, to be fair, there's no reason for the government to ever have issues with me. Because 1, I'm not a threat to anyone. And 2, honestly, it would not be that hard to just be you know what? We could just help Lunar date someone. And then I would just be focused on having lots of sex. So that would keep me pretty distracted. I feel like that'd be an easier way to deal with me. But I don't think we're going to find a Bishonen, twink, femboy, futanari waifu for me. Heck, to be fair, I wouldn't be opposed to dating a woman. It's just, I'm very fucking traumatized over my ex-wife. So I feel very... It's like the feeling you had like when you're like to a stove and you touch the stove and it burns you. You don't want to touch the stove anymore because it's going to burn you. I don't hate women. I don't wish any harm on anyone. It's just the same thing. It's hard to want a romantic relationship with a woman when all I can think about is all the horrible shit my ex-wife did. Like, so it's like, hey, you can have a relationship with this person with a vagina, but, you know, remember all these bad things that happened to you? And I'm like, well, I don't want to go through those things again. I don't want to go through another divorce. I don't want to be stuck in a government binding contract with an abusive, adulterous partner. I don't want to have more children taken away from me and to lose another family. Heck, and again, I always say I'm not going to talk to you guys about this stuff anymore. I'm bothering you guys with my personal life. But at the same time, it's like this. I will always be upset about this and sad about this. I will be like, I'm always like at Walmart or something and there's some little baby crying or a kid next to their parent saying, daddy, daddy. And they're like next to them and say, hey, dad. And I don't show any outward reaction. I just keep looking at, you know, whether it's a can of Spam or a jar of pickles or something I'm reading on the aisle that I'm reading. I'm not showing outward signs that I'm even acknowledging the other people exist. As far as they're aware, I don't even know they exist. Like that father and his kid saying, dad, dad, you know, or heck, sometimes I'm in a church and there's just little kids sitting with their families and they're going, daddy, and then mommy, and I'm just, you know, I ignore it. I pretend. I outwardly maintain a stoic, you know, appearance. I do not seem to even show that I even care, to the point that people may even think that I don't even notice they exist. But inside, I am screaming. I feel like I want to drop down to my knees and start crying my fucking eyes out. I feel like I want to just start slamming my face into the aisle. I feel like I want to just start screaming and crying and having a fucking breakdown. I mean, heck, like I said, it was like 4.5, like almost 5 years ago. I recorded like a 13.5 hour, 14-hour video where I don't have an issue of uploading. I initially tried to upload it when YouTube didn't want a video that long. I let OBS re-record a few small segments of a couple songs, but the vast majority of it I did not. Just because, again, it's not like, I didn't want to upload it because it makes me look bad or cringe. That's my entire fucking channel. Every video I make, everything I say makes me look bad and is cringe. Like this whole video, let's be clear. There's no reason for anyone out there to have any fucking respect for me or to fucking think anything well of me. This whole, like, everything about me is cringe and dumb and pathetic, and everyone's probably just laughing and pointing at me and talking about what a fucking loser I am. In addition to that, I know everything I say in all the videos I make do not make me look good. Again, that's not the point. The point is, it's a place for me to talk without a filter. Though granted, I prefer to stay focused on video games and such, but apparently I can't stay focused sometimes. But the point is, I'm just a crazy guy on the fucking internet, and this is a place for me to talk without a filter. I can just say whatever the fuck's on my mind. Knowing full well that everything I say makes me sound like a pathetic fucking loser and cringe and makes me sound like a bad person. I get it. I'm a failure and I suck, and it's just, by everyone's accounts, I'm a fucking loser, okay? I mean, heck, I'll never be able to own a home. And I barely, I work all the time and I can barely afford to keep my head above water. I have enough extra money after my bills to buy fucking video games and some fast food. And occasionally I'll buy, I have some anime figure. I have an anime figure of Albedo over there. Cost $40. She has giant fucking titties. She looks fucking hot. Here's the thing. If I can have real life Albedo Whether she has she's food and has a dick, or heck, she has strap on, or even just a twink version of that. Sure, why not? Everyone's like, please stop making us uncomfortable. No, this whole fucking channel, every video I make is me making all of you feel uncomfortable. It's me doing the most uncomfortable, most stupid thing I could ever do. Be myself. Because apparently that's the most unlikable thing I could ever do, is just be myself. Heck, I remember back when I was younger and I was asking women out, like, especially back before, like when I was much younger. I got in person, face to face, asking women out. I got rejected by more women than Goku's power level. Like, if Vegeta was there looking at how, like, keeping track of the amount of people that rejected me, telling me that I'm too ugly and all that, if Vegeta was counting that number, he'd crush a fucking scouter and yell. Then again, I still say Vegeta and Kermit the Frog. Like, Vegeta staying in the rain and Kermit the Frog crying in the fucking bathtub are the same person. I still say Ted Bear from Cyanide and Happiness and Aizen from Bleach are the same person. They have the same fucking voice. Especially from that Bleach Abridged, where, like, Aizen's, like, trying to sell CDs or some shit. I don't remember. I'm just saying Ted Bear and Aizen are the same person. Just imagine Bleach, but, like, superimpose Ted Bear into all the Bleach episodes. Or how about this? Go watch Ted Bear and Cyanide Happiness, but imagine that as Aizen. They have the same voice. Ted Bear from Cyanide Happiness and Aizen have the same voice. Drink some of this Sprite. They have like a Red Bull Energizer thing at McDonald's now, which, don't get me wrong, looked interesting, but I need to go to bed soon. So, not that I'm against Red Bull, I'm just against Red Bull when it's already past my bedtime as it is. Fuck. But like I said, that 13.5 hour some odd video, like, it's just, again, it's not like I didn't decide to go and have that up there just because, it'll make me look bad or it's cringe. Because no, that's everything. It's that the sounds I made during the course of that video, re-listening to that made me feel very, very sad. I do not ever want to make those sounds again. I do not ever want to hear myself make those sounds again. And honestly, part of me was like thinking back, like, you know what? The best part of it would have been if I had kept those sounds is that they would have been perfect. I could have sold them to a game studio to put into a fucking horror game. Because that's what it sounds like it should be in. That the crying noises I made were so fucking bad. And I don't mean bad in terms of like, oh, it's bad audio quality. No, it's fucking terrifying. Is that it's so fucking depressing and sad, is that the noises I was making belong in a fucking horror game. I feel like you could make Dead Space 4 and put the soundtrack of the crying noises I was making, and it would be the most horrifying thing. And it's not even like it would make the viewer sad, like hearing the crying sound. No, it would be more like they would feel actually scared that something horrifying is going to jump around the corner. And don't be wrong, there have been other videos where I cried a bit. There's been some videos where I did the laughing quite loudly thing. But it was always a quick little, like the Paradox video. I made a video called Paradox. There's a couple snippets where I laughed at a loud volume here and there. But that was just at a loud volume. And a little bit. In the 13.5 hour plus video, there was at least a solid 7.5 hours of me crying at screaming volumes while laughing. To the point that after like 7.5 to 8 hours straight of nonstop crying with tears pouring down my face for 8 hours straight with snot all over my face, where I'm just literally crying at screaming volumes while laughing and crying and screaming as the loudest possible volume my lungs can generate. I then started vomiting everywhere because apparently the human body has a threshold for how much stress it can handle. And then I was kind of lightheaded and dizzy and couldn't really function very well. And then eventually I was able to sit back up and get off the ground and stuff. So, like my recording setup sounds really pathetic too. It's like, hi guys, I am sitting in my bedroom. I am recording on my potato of a laptop, which is actually the most powerful computer I've ever had. Its internal fan doesn't work, so it has an external fan plugged into it. And that laptop is sitting on a external fan that is sitting on top of a metal folding chair. And that metal folding chair is sitting on top of my mattress that I sleep on, my bed. I am sitting in a metal folding... I have 3 metal folding chairs in this bedroom right now. I have a metal folding chair over there with a box fan on it. Then I am over here in a metal folding chair. I am wearing my black shirt with Momonga from Overlord with the Staff of Ein Soul going on it. And that's it. I'm naked from the waist down. So you guys can look down and see my fucking fat stomach and my tiny dick. And my leg muscles that don't seem to have any definition despite the jogging and stuff. Hey, at least you guys don't see how fucking ugly I am. Should be trying nice from but my face is ugly as fuck. Then again, apparently that's what everyone's always... Then again, I don't think I've ever met a single person in my life that has ever found me attractive. And everyone I've ever dated has made it very clear during the breakup process. They were very literally clear that they were lying to me and that they never found me attractive. And they laughed about how it was easy to lie to me and that I believed them. And sad face. But yeah, I am sitting in my bedroom. I'm sitting on, like, I have a metal folding chair. I have a couple pillows that you would use on a bed on the metal folding chair between my bare ass and the metal folding chair. And then in front of me is another metal folding chair with my laptop sitting on that. Like, the metal folding chair is on top of my bed. Like, I do not have a computer desk. I am literally sitting on a metal folding chair with, like, no fucking back support. Looking at a laptop that is on a second metal folding chair that is on top of my mattress. That is my recording setup. I don't know what the fuck this video is. Random, crazy, pathetic loser guy rambles to himself. Heck, I made a few videos where I said, guy tries to encourage people. I made several videos where I try to, like, give you guys... And then again, the video is always like, hey guys, I'm trying to work out and I'm hoping to make improvement. And of course, I'm still not feel like I'm any further. I don't feel like I've made much improvement. Then again, I've had so many fucking injuries along the way. But it's just... I'm going to keep trying, guys. I'm going to keep going to the bike trail. I'm going to keep jogging. I'm hopefully going to make improvement. And hopefully once I do make improvement, I can then use that as a foundation to make even more improvement. And always keep going further and further and further every day. Every day I can be better than the day I was before. And hopefully one day I'll have like an actual, I don't know, physique to be proud of, and I could actually like show it to you guys, and you guys can be like, wow, that's awesome. And I don't know. Like I said, if I'm ever actually physically in shape and have a fucking six-pack, I am fucking cosplaying Testament from Guilty Gear Strive. And technically both versions, provided if I had the ability to afford to outfits of it. But I feel like I would, particularly the 2003 version, but honestly both are fine. My only complaint with wearing the cosplay of either is the fact that I'm fucking fat and ugly. And also don't have the outfit. I don't think I can afford the outfit. I feel like if I at least were to look good in the outfit, I would fucking wear it. My only complaint about the idea of wearing such an outfit, like if all of a sudden, if I had the Testament outfit in front of me, I'm like, I'm too fat. I feel like I'm not attractive enough to wear this. Then again, I also would wear cosplays of a Lumi Zoldyck. Heck, I'll leave a video in the description of that too. Heck, I made quite a few karaoke videos. Heck, I made a video of a game called Trepang once. It was like Fear, but it's me just going around with a fucking assault rifle, shooting walls, and just making like lots of really sad femboy noises while I just fucking fight ghosts and shit. Heck, I did Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion at one point. Heck, Nerve was a good game. So was Thumper. Though I didn't like how you had to like speed up and slow down in Nerve. I feel like if you play like a racing type game, I want to just go one speed the whole time, like just fast. And don't get me wrong, there was a game I played a bit recently called Hypercore. There's a video of that right before this video, and it's a good game. I'm not knocking the game. I'll come back to it if you guys want to see me play more of it. Though honestly, I'll tell you this. Even though, like I said, it's slow. The pacing of the game is slow. Granted, even though it's slow, my reaction speed to it is terrible, and I played it terribly, and I played it horribly, and I did not react quick enough. So despite the fact that and it's also early on in the game, so who knows, maybe it would speed up in time. Maybe like, I only ever played on novice difficulty, so maybe master goes faster. I don't know. I haven't got that far yet. I do feel this. And who knows, maybe it'll get to that point. I don't know. Like I said, I am also in general trying to keep to shorter videos, like around maybe 20 minutes at a time. This video has just been me just going on forever, talking about random bullshit and bothering everyone. But it's just, I like the idea of a racing game like that where you move fast. I still think there should be like more Nerve, more Thumper type games, and who knows, maybe this Hypercore game might be a game in that style, and even if it is, I still would want more after it. But of course we have to, and of course like Redout was interesting, but my laptop could so much. There was a couple racing games I tried on my laptop that it's just my laptop could not handle. It's kind of like sometimes I'm so tempted to go back to Shadow War, because I think it would be, but honestly, there's a bald British dude that's so much more entertaining when it comes to playing that. And honestly, that's the worst part of there not being a modding community for that or another sequel, is that I would want to see his, like, even if there was an amazing sequel, even if there was an incredible modding community for it of all kinds of bullshit mods that were just insane, I would be much more interested in watching him play it than me play it myself. I would just, again, I'm that person who was addicted to watching Let's Players when I was younger. I always wanted to do Let's Plays. And don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed a lot of Let's Plays I've done. Like, I played Super Meat Boy all the way through, and I beat the game. Heck, I beat the game in part 9, and yet I went on to, like, what, party 36, 37 or some shit? I had a lot of fun with it, but I was cussing out of the whole fucking time. But it's just, at the end of the day, I remember watching Freelance Astronauts playing 4-player, Super Mario Brothers Wii, the very first Super Mario that came out on the Wii. And I remember like watching them do Prototype and Mass Effect, and just the commentary is crazy. And the various ROM hacks, Proton John, Tatsudoshi, Max hacks, all sorts of crazy people. We had Slow Beef, Deceased Crab. And of course, Ultra J-Man, ROM Scout, Cloud 8745. I mean, so much. So, and of course, at one point also, another reason to watch Let's Plays was that, there were so many games that have great stories, but I can't afford to buy a shit ton of video games. Watching a Let's Play is cheaper. And a lot of times it's a good way to actually, I want to see what the gameplay, but also I want to see the story. I want to hear the music. And it's like, I really like a lot of music. Heck, you guys, there's an anime called Bible Black. It's got an amazing soundtrack. Heck, there's a video game for the PS2 that actually could really use a remake for like the PS5. Star Ocean Till the End of Time. It's technically the third Star Ocean game. Star Ocean Till the End of Time. It's a fucking awesome video game. Granted, I probably played a lot of, and here's the thing, I can't stay focused too much on video games anymore. I remember playing Star Ocean Till the End of Time like at least three times through, all the way through in that game. And I played Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9 like 10 times each. But I'll tell you this, if I were to like put Final Fantasy 9 on the laptop, I'd probably play it as far as, that little sword fight section with Zidane, with the, and then I'd probably put it down for a while. Like, it's hard to stay focused on one game at a time. Though I did like that little sword mini game thing. And of course, a lot of the Final Fantasy games have all these crazy card games and shit. Heck, even The Witcher had some card game stuff in it. I like the Witcher games were pretty cool. But it's just, I don't know, guys. It's just, heck, I'm looking forward to Dot Hack. I remember the Dot Hack Sign was a great video game. And, well, I mean, Dot Hack Sign was a great anime. And Dot Hack Infection was a great PS2 game. They made tons of that stuff. But there's a Dot Hack Zero coming out next year in 2027. Heck, Ananta's, like, I'd say the main two games I'm looking forward to actually personally playing myself for, like, PlayStation is Ananta, which is like anime GTA, and Dot Hack Zero. I will say this. I'm not going to be buying GTA 6, but I am looking forward to, like, watching Asmongold and a bunch of other people play that game. And it's going to be fucking hilarious. Because even if it's fucking shit, I think their reactions will be hilarious. But like I said, I can't play Shadow War just because I made a few videos like that. It was like a fucking PowerPoint presentation. My computer, and that was even then. At this point, if I try to do it now, I'm pretty sure it just burst into fire. So, and more like, you guys ever stop hearing from me, it's either because my laptop burst into fire or I, like, have a heart attack. I really want to eat these McDonald's fries that are probably cold and gross at this point. I'm still going to eat them, though. Eat them while watching a Let's Play while this video is uploading. But, yeah, I'll put links of... If there's anything else I mentioned that you want to link to, let me know if I don't remember. But I think like Slow Beef and Freelance and all those guys, I'll try to... And Ultra J-Man, Rom Scout... I'll try to put links to that stuff in the description. Oh, and the video with the picture of a Lumi Zoldyck. Hey, you guys remember I know Punisher was originally recently in a movie with Spider-Man, but you guys remember the old Punisher movie from like back in 2002? It had like a soundtrack, and it was... I remember watching that movie back then. It was cool. I liked the soundtrack. Hey, you guys remember Final Fantasy Spirits Within? That was on VHS. And a lot of people go look back at it like, oh, the CGI is terrible. Keep in mind, 1, that was cutting edge technology back then. 2, I thought it was awesome. I enjoyed the movie. Technically, the movie was considered a failure. It didn't sell enough, and it did not make as much money as they had hoped. But I was grateful for that movie. I watched that movie so many fucking times. Then again, I remember having the first 3 Pokemon movies on VHS tape. I watched those things so much. I still have the fucking cassettes. I still have my VCR player. I still have my old PS2. Anyway, I'm going to end the video because, I don't know. Did anyone even sit and listen to whatever this is? Heck, I did. I made a movie review once called Search My Channel. I typed in Daniel Stern Bullet Train. I watched the Brad Pitt Bullet Train movie years back ago, and I made a movie review of it, and I was making comparisons to Daniel Stern. He's the guy who plays Marv in Home Alone, but he also plays a character that's the protagonist of a movie called Bushwhacked. And I feel like in that situation, Daniel Stern and Brad Pitt and Russell Crowe are the same person. You have to watch the video. No, also, there's a video where I talk about anime genres and stuff. I have so many things I need to try to remember to put in there. And I'm going to end the video, and as sooner as I am, if anyone watches, I do appreciate you. And like I said, feel free to let me know in the comments. Like, are you guys working out? You guys working on any skills or goals? Or dealing with depression? I don't know. Are any of you not having the greatest luck in relationships? Like, did any of you guys have bad experiences in your previous relationships? Have any of you guys been alone for, like, I don't remember what a hug feels like. I mean, occasionally I'll see my mom, maybe once or twice a month, and I'll give her a hug, but it's more so me just leaning over to her and putting my arms around her and giving her a hug and That's so I don't know if and again, I'll say this. I love my mom very, very, very much. Lots of happy memories. You know, playing Spyro the Dragon, of her cooking home cooked foods, and, you know, me sitting in the kitchen talking to her when she's cooking. Heck, I remember being like 11 years old. There was a car accident then, and, you know, car came to my side. My mom leaned over me. Granny, saved my life. I appreciate that. And I'm glad she didn't die. But, you know, we got knocked unconscious briefly, and then we both woke up, and, you know, I could see the white of her skull as, you know, part of her forehead was peeled back a little bit, and there's a giant gash, and I could see her skull, and that was kind of scary. But I'm glad she's okay. And again, that was like a really, really long time ago. But I appreciate, heck, like I said, I mean, I had that bladder surgery like 3 years ago, where she's over here like 3 days and 3 nights. Which again, I enjoyed having her over here. We watched Miss Jackie Chan and Conan Barbarian, and, you know, I enjoyed spending some time with my mom. But it was, even though it was this terrible circumstance, I was in a lot of pain. Even with the pain medication the doctor gave me, I was still in really a shit ton of pain. Like I said, I mean, I had a tube up my dick. The tube was like the thickness of a number 2 pencil, and I measured it after I pulled it out of me. It's 14 inches of fucking tube up my penis. Fucking sucked. And of course, you had like the multiple valves, one to drain the fluid for the Foley balloon thing, and then you had to like pull a fucking huge fucking 14-inch fucking thing out my dick, which that was just me sitting in the bathroom. Initially, I tried to do that while standing in the bathtub, and I'm like, I couldn't do it. I was going to literally collapse. And I was like, that's not gonna end well if I collapse in this situation. I'm gonna hurt myself really badly. So gave myself like 5 minutes to not be blacking out anymore, because I was like, my vision was going completely fucking dark and black with red here and there. It's like fucking Gears of War. The way like it shows you that you're dying. That's what actually happens in real life. Granted, I've had multiple situations in life where stuff has happened to me like that. Heck, when I was very young, I would hyperventilate a lot. Then again, there were other reasons for that, but hey, yay, traumas. But yeah, I just sort of eventually just sat on the toilet and just sort of felt really miserable. And I'll say this, both after having that tubed out, and of course, even a couple years before that surgery, I had to have a cystoscopy, which is where they shove a camera up your dick. Which, I'll tell you this, thankfully I was unconscious for that, because otherwise, no, never happening. But I'll tell you this, after both those circumstances, the first few days of peeing like a normal human being after that, you're screaming in pain. Fucking sucks. Heck. Some interesting things about life. Like, at one point I had palsy. It was like, I was 13 years old. That sucked. Heck. Technically, like, God and evolution both conspired to make me exist, which I appreciate. Like I said, as depressed as I am, I appreciate my life, and I'm thankful to be alive. But at the same time, it's just be nice to be a little bit happier and more confident in myself. And maybe, I don't know, love, affection, yay. Or I don't know, some more money would be cool too. Then again, I'll never make a fucking cent from this channel. I'll never be monetized. I'll never make super chats or merchandise or sponsors. As much as I probably could use the money. Fuck. That being said, even if I'm not gonna get money from people, I'm not gonna ask for shit, and I don't. Then again, imagine if like what would my sponsors be if I get sponsored by Pepsi? I do like me some ice cold Pepsi. Maybe I could have like Smith and Wesson give me guns. Self-defense only, mind you. I'm not gonna go shoot people up. Except in a video game. Because then I can make people laugh by being dumb. I could get sponsored by Bad Dragon and have a bunch of fucking dildos. Then again, all that shit I've seen, like, I don't think I could. All that stuff's like big and awkwardly shaped. I'm like, that's not safe looking at all. How do people insert things like that into their bodies? Fuck. You guys gotta be out of their fucking minds. It's like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I assume that whoever like makes, I've seen the designs of that shit. I feel like whoever designs that doesn't understand how human anatomy works. I don't think they understand. I don't think they've seen, you know, a human. I think all of their knowledge of, you know, sex is based on hentai at that point. Like, did you just like watch dragon sex? Like, were we just like watching My Little Pony porn? And it's like, that's just where we're basing knowledge of how you're going to design shit that's meant to be like a dildo or something for a human. Like, I don't think you guys understand human physiology. That reminds me, I could never I like Warhammer books. I like casually reading the books, but like the Warhammer 40K, I could never afford all those fucking miniatures. Like, I see people playing those games and they like spend. Have you guys seen the price tags for that shit? Like, just to have some of those miniature, I don't know. Fuck. There's just no way I could ever fucking afford that. But I like reading the books. Heck, I made a few videos at one point reading the books. I feel like I'm getting distracted again. I don't know. But yeah, this has been Lunar D8 annoys everybody by, I don't know. You know, there were a lot of cicadas out there. That was nice. Anyway, so, yeah, are you guys trying to work out? And how's it going? Do you guys have good relationships? Or have any of you guys also been alone for a long time? Or have not had great success with relationships? Or have had relationships go poorly? Or are worried about your financial futures? To the where you're like, if you lose your job, or like, it's like, how will you afford rent? Like, does anyone else have concerns about, like, you know, financial well-being and stuff? Or worried about, like, you know, World War III or something? Like, I feel like every day it's like you look out there and it's like, guys, are you ready for World War III? Like, we're gonna get Fallout 3 remaster and also Fallout actual. Like, one day we're just gonna look over and like, oh, Spain got nuked and New York got nuked and Japan split in half from an earthquake and a large part of California just sank into the ocean and Canada's on fire. And now there's dinosaurs and actual dragons, and then aliens are going to land, and there's going to be like a fucking citadel, like fucking Mass Effect. And the aliens are going to be like 6 or 7 different species. One of them's going to be a Asari with giant fucking titties. Why can't, like, if aliens are real, why can't we have just like really beautiful aliens that just look like hot anime women with giant tits? Why can't cat girls be real? Why can't we? When is Elon Musk gonna finish making Neckos? I thought you were gonna make genetically engineered cat girls, Elon. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're doing cool stuff, man. I support you, but where are the cat girls? Okay, I'm being facetious, but still, you guys get what I'm saying. Heck, I'm just saying this. If cat girls were real, would you date them? Everyone's like, no, because it would just be more people to reject you. And to be fair, yes. But at least give me the little bit of suspension of disbelief that we're making a fictitious anime species come into reality. If we can at least acknowledge that, let's just say they like you too. For example, if you met a woman, your choice if she's futa or not. I understand some people are not into that, and that's fine. But I'll say this. If you're like a typical, and again, this is to anyone of any gender or orientation. Would you date an 8-foot tall person, provided that they weren't suffering from all the health effects from the square cube law of physics? Because most people in real life, they have like 8 feet tall, their organs and bones can't handle it and they start to die because the human body can't really handle that unless something supernatural or something going on. I'm just saying this. If there's no like extra complications from like health or something, and they're like they're perfectly healthy, like how about this? Like Power Girl from like the giant tits, or Wonder Woman from like the comics. If you met that person in real life and they actually liked you, you wouldn't tell them no, would you? You wouldn't like reject them, right? Because I'm just saying this, like if I met, a beautiful woman with giant titties, heck, regardless of whatever's in between her pants, in between her legs, if that person tells me they like me, and I at least think that they're not going to like commit domestic violence against me, yes. Then again, like what's the main thing I want in a relationship? Someone I find attractive, who finds me attractive, who I can feel safe with, who isn't going to be violent to me or psychotic, who likes being very affectionate to me, who also won't cheat on me or just, because like I said, I don't like, when people cheat on people, I don't like that. So yeah, I would like a partner who isn't violent or abusive and doesn't cheat on me. I would also like to find them attractive, and I want them to find me attractive. Like it's like, and I know some people say, they don't want to feel like they look like a piece of meat. But here's the thing. I think it would be awesome if the person I'm dating finds me attractive to where like they think it makes them happy, the thought of kissing me. That the idea of me being naked, excites them. Then again, it's a weird thing I've seen people complaining about in some sort of like blue pill video where they're saying, things of women in bikinis dehumanize women because then men will just look at women like they're pieces of meat and don't see them as people. And I'm like, okay, my disagreement on that is this. What the fuck is wrong with you that if you look at a naked person, you don't still view them as a person? Like, here's the thing. You should be able to just look at somebody and, they're still just a human being. It's kind of like the whole, again, Sodom and Gomorrah. People are like, Sodom and Gomorrah, being gay is wrong. No. It wasn't because they were gay. It's because of how fucking violent and murderous they were and all the horrible other shit they were doing. It's kind of like, again, Nineveh actually had a thing where they were torturing people and they were like the Mayans and Aztecs, basically. And of course, the Chaldeans had a whole fucking shit to themselves too. But again, we're jumping between multiple people. Heck, Phoenicians, Carthaginians. Again, especially the Mayans and Aztecs. Holy shit. But again, stay focused. Here's the thing. Sodom and Gomorrah. It's because they were fucking violent, abusive pieces of shit. The whole issue with the whole Sodom thing is like, Sodom, that's fucking rape. That's not about being gay. It's about being a fucking rapist. God fucking nuked Sodom, Gomorrah, and 3 other cities at least. Because it was multiple cities that God fucking nuked from orbit. Just used a fucking angel like a fucking satellite weapon. Fucking glass to fucking like out of fucking Halo. But main point is this. People say, they were going after the angels. They said they wanted us. Here's the thing. That's not sexual orientation. That's sexual assault. Because here's the thing. If you take the straightest man in the world and you put him in a room with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders and they're all fucking naked and got their tits out, yes, he's going to be attracted to them. It doesn't mean he's going to start fucking assaulting them. And it doesn't mean he's going to not be viewing them as people. Yes, he's going to like the view of the tits. Yes, he's going to find them very attractive. But he's still going to see them as human beings with thoughts and feelings and their own identities. And he's still going to have respect for their autonomy and their boundaries. He's not going to assault them. If it was just an issue of the people of Sodom and Gomorrah being gay, at most they would have just said, "Hi, angels, you're cute." And they'd be like, "We don't like you like that." "Oh, okay, good. Have a nice day." And that'd been it. So it had nothing to do with orientation. It was the fact they were violent fucking rapists and murderers. And on. Like, heck, Sodom and Gomorrah was kind of known for attacking travelers and scamming things. Heck, that's the thing. Between both the times Noah and Sodom and Gomorrah, like, there was a outcry to God about the bloodshed that was happening. It wasn't the people being gay and who they liked. Now, again, don't be wrong. I find a lot of the Pride Parade shit that I see videos of in terms like stuff in California be fucking disgusting. But there's a difference. There's a difference between people openly saying, hey, you know, they feel comfortable to be openly gay, and then, you know, it's accepted in society. That's fine. I think that's good. What I don't like is, you know, people, adults, being half naked or even sometimes even more naked in the middle of fucking public in front of fucking kids. Like, I fully support people being gay, but I don't want people doing sexual acts, whether you're gay or straight, in public, especially in front of kids. And again, you shouldn't be doing, like, for example, we could say like a wife sucking her husband's dick isn't a sin, but she certainly wouldn't be doing it in a church pew in the church. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just inappropriate. Same way, like, there's nothing wrong with people being gay, but you wouldn't be doing, whether it's straight or gay, you're not going to be doing sexually explicit stuff in public in front of people. And whether it's gay or straight, you shouldn't be, you know, committing rape or sexual assault on people. You shouldn't be forcing yourself on another person. And you shouldn't be, like, again, you know, again, you could say there's certain limits, like, okay, you know, we're not going to go full fucking, you know, everyone's going to wear like the fucking, you know, head coverings to where all you see there's a fucking eyeballs. You can't even tell what gender a person is. Like, it's like, well, that's a moving rack of towels. It might be a human. It could be a camel. I don't know. But the point is this. Like, there's times like, I can't even tell what race that person is. I can't even tell how tall that person is. It could be 3 midgets in a trench coat. I don't fucking know. Point is that obviously there's extremes to things. I'm not saying people should go to the fucking, you know, be the fucking Puritans, like fucking killing people because, oh, you're kissing people in public, and oh, how dare you show ankles and shit. Like, obviously there's after all, I support fan service in video games. I don't like censorship in video games. But again, there has to be a discussion on that. Like, I am perfectly cool with hentai and sexually explicit anime in video games. And again, people can have PDA. People can dress provocatively. But at the same time, you know, there's a limit. There's between, okay, you have somebody who wants to go out topless. It's fine. It's another thing. People that are literally walking around with their genitalia in front of fucking little kids in the middle of the fucking street. Or doing actual sex acts in public. Like, that's gross. Like, it's one thing to be like, okay, people are proud to be gay. It's another thing that you have people walking down the street doing fucking like BDSM shit. And again, if people do that stuff themselves in their own bedrooms, that's fine. But again, everyone's got their own sensibilities. But, you know, my sensibility kind of stops at the point where, you know, people go walking around fully naked with their genitalia exposed, acting like animals. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to knock people wearing fucking fursuits. I mean, I can understand the appeal in that. I'm ugly as fuck, guys. You know, if I could walk around with a fucking animal mask on top of my face at a fucking convention, I mean, probably. I mean, it would keep everyone else from fucking puking. But you guys get what I mean. Everyone's fine to be themselves and be able to live their life how they want. But the moment where it starts, you know, impacting other people, I feel like it's crossing a line. Oh, by the way, you guys remember the band Smile Empty Soul? That's a great... Also, Tool and A Perfect Circle. But it's just... You know, there's lines of that. But the main point of Sodom and Gomorrah is this. If they had just been gay, they just would have, you know, maybe... you know, flirted with the angels, but they would never have tried to assault them or anything. So it has nothing to do with orientation. Heck, adultery. It's like sodomy is about rape. It's sex that violates the sanctity of consent. So here's the thing. Definition of sodomy. Sex that violates the sanctity of consent. And adultery is when you cheat on your partner or you fuck someone else's partner. It violates the oath of, loyalty you have to someone. And of course, what's fornication at that point? Simple. It's sex that violates the sanctity of the bond of sex, of monogamy. Basically, you don't have to be legally married. You don't need a fucking government contract to have a serious relationship with someone. And again, if other people want to live their life a certain way, I just think the idea of like orgies and stuff is not right. Like, I think if you're going to have sex with somebody, you should be having sex with one person. Like, if you're going out dating with people, you should only be talking to one person at a time. You should only be dating one person at a time. You should only be having sex with one person at a time. And I think body counts are damaging and bad to people of any gender or any orientation. Like, if I meet a cute twink, obviously 50 is too high. 52 is too high of a body count. I think high body count is bad for anyone. I think it's gross, and I think it's damaging to your psychological and mental health. Like, here's the thing. How are you going to fucking pair bond? And not even then, here's the thing. You tell what someone's future is going to be by their past. Like, if someone's been arrested for murder 3 times, I don't think you should trust them to, like, run a daycare. I'm just saying, if a person's had a previous history of committing violent crimes or doing, like, heroin or meth, I don't think maybe you should have them in a position of authority with that. Or, like, you're not going to be hiring a fucking crackhead to be a doctor. Okay? You guys get what I mean. You're not going to be, like, same regard, like, are you going to be wanting to date somebody who's had sex with hundreds of people? Not only is there the possibility of what kinds of STDs are you getting into, but at that point, you're like, okay, if this person's been with this many people, well, what's the chances are that they're going to cheat on me? What are the chances are that they're going to be satisfied with me in a relationship? And at the end of the day is this. The whole point is of a reason of why you want to date someone with a lower body count is you want someone that actually has respect for the sanctity of sex. That, sex, especially having sex or intimacy, like, having sex is supposed to be a reflection of emotional intimacy between you and another person. You're supposed to be having sex with someone that not only do you find attractive, but you should feel safe and comfortable with. They should be your best friend. They should be someone you feel safe and comfortable with. It should be something special. It shouldn't be something you just frivolously throw out there to anyone. Like, oh, whatever. This person can fuck you and that person can fuck you. Like, no, if you're having sex, like, if I'm in a relationship with somebody, one, I don't want to be fucking anyone other than them, but I want to be having lots and lots of sex with the person I'm having sex with. But at the same time, I don't want them to view sex with me like a chore or to be grossed out by me. I want them to, like, crave sex with me and love it. But at the same time, I also would want them to not only feel that it would be, safe and amazing to be, like, kissing me, but I also would want them to feel grossed out of the idea of kissing anyone else because, it's not me. I feel like they should feel grossed out of the idea that it's, you guys understand what I mean? Like, that people should value that bond between people. And I feel that that should be the case, whether you're a guy, a girl, straight, gay, whatever. I feel like whoever you're with, you should never want to cheat on that person, and you should never want that person to cheat on you. Like, I think the whole NTR stuff is fucking gross and disgusting, and it's awful and horrible, and that no one should do that to anyone. I don't think that's nice. But I think that whoever you are, whether you're a guy, a girl, gay, or straight, I don't think you should cheat on your partner. And I don't think, your partner should cheat on you. And I think both people in a monogamous relationship should be having tons and tons of sex. You should both love and care about each other. You shouldn't be viewing sex with each other like a chore. But at the same time, you also shouldn't be, like, giving, like, the most special, sacred part of your emotional state, like what's supposed to be vulnerable and intimate, to other people. That's a betrayal of that relationship, and it's also it demeans it. It makes light of everything that's special about what it's supposed to be. And again, it's like if you're having sex with all these different people, whether you're a guy or a girl, that kind of fucks up your ability to emotionally bond with these people, especially if you're someone out there who's had sex with many people in quick succession. I mean, that's probably one of the most surefire ways to be like the most psychologically unhealthy, destructive thing you could ever do. Like, probably doing crack would be less damaging to you. Like, it would probably be less dangerous. And again, both things are bad. The point is, you should have more respect for yourself, and more respect for your body, and more respect for your soul, and more respect for your mind and your heart. And it's just, in general, it's like this. There's also the question of not only would you have that respect for yourself, but here's the thing. Would you want to sleep with someone that, engages in such behavior? So obviously, main point I'm saying is this. I think people like having like if a man and a woman get together and they have a long committed relationship, that's not fornication. But I do think there's a difference between that and people having fucking orgies or gangbangs or fucking glory holes or whatever, anonymous hookups and shit. And again, if other people do that, whatever, that's their own personal lives. I just think it's very self-destructive. And I personally, do not like it. Now, don't get me wrong. I've watched plenty of pictures of hentai. I've looked at so much hentai of like spit roasts of like, oh, here's some, twinks or futas spit roasting. That's the pictures. But then again, also the same regard, the pictures have people with just giant dicks. I'm like, in real life, that's too much. Yeah, those things that can't fit in a human being. Like, obviously hentai is a bit unrealistic when it comes to certain things. And there are things you can see in hentai that like, okay, would not be okay with that in real life. Like, obviously, spit roasting, that's two people. It's just, then again, I watched a lot of harem anime when I was younger. You guys remember Tenchi Muyo? Heck, there's supposed to be a new Tenchi Universe anime coming out, a sequel to the old Tenchi Universe. So that's interesting. But I'll tell you this. As much as the whole harem anime stuff is cool, I think most people would be completely satisfied with one person. But I'll tell you this, Mihoshi Kuramitsu and Washu and Ryoko from Tenchi Muyo, definitely had a crush on them when I was younger. I'm just saying Mihoshi had some very perky titties, and she had a very pretty face and a very athletic body. I don't know what this conversation's been. I need to go to sleep. So I'm going to end the video. I'm going to upload things. I'm going to put some links in the description, and I am going to eat my McDonald's that is probably cold as fuck now. So that's disappointing. And then I'm going to go to sleep and then wake up a few hours later and go to work. And then get off work and take a shower and go for another jog. And the squirrels in the trees are going to be looking at me and like, this guy's not getting any better. Still fucking fat. Like, I know, squirrels. Stop. You guys remember Makoto from Blaze Blue? She's like this squirrel girl, but she has like giant fucking tits. And she's like, okay, you fucked with squirrels, Morty. I mean, to be fair, if the squirrels were a sexy... Okay, there was also a woman called Bullet in there. She was... just like so many anime girls with giant tits. Again, Ivy from Soul Calibur 2. Amazing titties. Taki was like that red outfit. She was a shinobi, but it's like basic skin suit. But again, I had no complaints here. Imagine if there was a movie, like the Street Fighter movie. Heck, again, the Street Fighter movie that's going to come out 3D. I think the main part that would be interesting about that would be like Cammy and Chun-Li in 3D. Heck, what other characters? There's Poison. And I remember there was that one wrestler girl dude that has like, I forget what her outfit is. And I forget what she's called. Let me go. I'm going to hop on Google real quick because I don't remember. So let's go to Google. want to type it in real quick. Okay, her name is R. Mika, Rainbow Mika. And again, she is hot. Oh, you know what else? Colonel Viper. She has some... Oh, and there's also... I think her name's Melina? Or there was a... What's the girl? But I know her Colonel Viper is really cool. By really cool, I mean... She's extremely sexy and I would want to have sex with her. Especially if she was Futa. Oh, who's this girl? I don't remember her name. Laura Matsuda. Don't remember this person, but my boner definitely appreciates her. Who's the other? And of course, Poison's hot. Sakura. Who else? I'm trying to remember. What the fuck? What? Who else is? Damn it, memory. There's a... I forget the description of who I was. Fuck. Damn it. Oh, who's this? Iwashi Gama? Japan Women's Pro Wrestling? Street Fighter? I mean, she's hot. I don't remember. All right, though. It's like Melina or something, right? I'm going to type in ML. Is it Melina? No, that's a Mortal Kombat person. I think she's from Brazil. Isn't everyone from fucking Brazil? I don't know. Type that in. No, that's... Apparently Blanca's comes up with that, and so does that one girl. Damn it, I can't remember. What is... She's got white hair. Just gonna... Street Fighter 6 characters. Just gonna pull up the whole fucking list of characters. Can I zoom in at this? Oh, Cammy's definitely really hot. Can't remember. Oh, Jury? There are a lot. Oh, that's Morgan from Darkstalkers. Felicia's also really nice. Elena. That's, I knew her. Elena. That's her name. I think I'd remember this. Yeah, Elena. She's got white hair and like... Yeah, her name is spelled Elena. And... Okay. Well, anyway. This has just been 2 hours of the random Gunnar anime lover dude rambling, and I need to go to bed soon. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Hope everyone has all the hugs and head pats you ever want or need. And heck, any anime waifus or husbandos you guys like. Heck, and again, like I said, if you guys get a chance, I'd recommend Raging Golden Eagle. Listen to him. He's pretty cool. I'm going to try to remember put things in links in the description, basically for like Slow Beef and Ultra J Man. Later.